Hello there, Bardic Nerd here, returning once again with my Let's Play of Millennia, playing as Great Britain, establishing our colonial empire on which the sun shall never set, or something like that. We haven't done a very good job of setting up a worldwide empire, but there's it's not really incentivized too heavily here with this game, I suppose. Um, as it generally isn't in 4X games. Um, be interesting to create a 4X game that models the dynamics that caused colonialism. That could be an interesting thing to see happen. I suppose there are some um, maps in 4X games that incentivize it more. Um, but of course, one of the principles of 4X games is a fairly balanced start for most people, and that generally is a little bit less compatible with having the dynamics that work for colonialism. If everyone has a fair and balanced chance in it, then I think you're not gonna really, um, unless you have actual true terra nullis, that is just an area that no one can explore until a certain time in the game, then that could be a interesting thing. And there are some maps that have um, that a bit more, but you don't usually see like unique resources in other lands that you can't get in your home area in 4X games. Um, which is kind of sad that resources in 4X games tend to be available universally throughout the map, and you don't have to go to specific areas to get specific resources, because that does drive a lot of strategic conflict in the real world, that you can only get this resource in this area. That causes a lot of the stuff we see in trade being a why trade is so valuable in the real world. Which is not to say that 4X games don't make trade a useful system, but doesn't really properly capture the dynamics of trade, generally speaking, in a lot of 4X games, I think. Um, and of course, um, doesn't, generally speaking, lead to the dynamics that drive a lot of strategic conflicts, where, like, say, we're going to get oil in the Middle East, although of course we do have a lot of oil here in the U.S. Um, the U.S. is one of the biggest oil producing countries, but we're also consuming a lot. But we don't have these specific areas that are producing a lot of one really valuable resource, and so there's a lot of drive to control specific areas. Um, don't as often see that in 4X games in my experience. Would be interesting. But so we are here doing stuff in the game. Um I think we're seeing if we want to use this artist to do a cultural movement. Artists, of course, very useful to do cultural movements in Millennia. Um Looks like we've decided against it, and we're just oh, maybe we haven't. Actually, yeah. Okay, we are using this cultural movement. Great. So more culture, so we can do stuff with. What are we gonna do with it now? Cutting edge. Looks like, yes, cutting edge. Get more of that sweet, sweet innovation. Innovation giving us innovation events in Millennia that are very, very useful. Now, I forgot to check how long this recording was, so I know when to stop. stop. Um, that was silly of me. Well, one moment. Right. Okay. Okay. Now I checked, and I might actually remember. Perhaps. Okay. Yeah. I think I remember. Okay. Always awkward. Because I'm having to record this over the original video instead of doing the so I'm recording additional dialogue uh over instead of having the original recording because the audio messed up, of course, which if you've been following along you will know, and we have a couple more of those ones where the audio messed up after this. So here we have pioneers that we're sending out to create some outposts here so we can get useful resources and also create eventually a road going between my places for faster um, travel. Very useful. It will be when we eventually get that. All right. So let's just see. We're just um getting colonialism here, our national spirit. So our colonies are going to be better, and creating pioneers over here, so that we can send them to up there to make the colonies that will allow us to get the resources and build that big long road that we want. So, and we also I think might be building up an army down here. I'm not positive if we are building up an army down here. I don't. We're building like a auxiliary army, I think, that we will use somewhat. Um, but mostly we have the armies we're building up in the north in Manchester. But some of the units that we had down here we'll just have as a kind of auxiliary forces. Um, so, have all the fish and such down there, which is nice. Unfortunately, I do wish you could move resources around between cities a little bit more easily and with more customization than you currently can. You have a very limited amount of resources you can move between cities, and you have to move. You can't move them to multiple different cities from the same city. You have to choose one city that you're going to move resources from any given city to. So it's kind of a problem, but oh well. All right. Hmm. Ah, got itchies on my nose. All right. Just having a little bit of a snack while I do this. Um, some pizza Lunchables, because there are some things that one never outgrows, right? And among them are Lunchables, although of course now I like having what my wife refers to as adult Lunchables, which is to say the things that are like cheese and cracker and fancy cheese and cracker and like nut or stuff um, little that are in containers like the Lunchables have always been that are from like more that are aimed more as snacks for adults. Um, but let's face it, they're just grown-up Lunchables. But Lunchables are for all ages. Fake pizza. It's so delicious. Mm. Um, So in game, I'm just looking around at all the places that I want to send people to make outposts so that I can have all these things to make and to make outposts and get resources. Tea down there, which of course is important for Great Britain. Tea is good. I like tea. I've already had morning tea today. Maybe I should have afternoon tea at some point. Well, it's kind of late afternoon now. But never too late for tea. Tea is always good. Well, I'll make it after I finish this recording and have it for my next recording session, I suppose. All right. Some water. Just getting all these things into position. So I want them to. I'm gonna fight against Corinth there with that, and that one's gonna go down against Lagos. Lagos, however you pronounce it. I am not good at pronouncing stuff that I have only read about, or read about first. I guess some of these stuff I have heard pronounced on the news or something like that, or in movies or something like that. But most of them I read about more, and so pronouncing stuff that you mostly read is always funny, I suppose. But all right, getting a Privy Council, got some science there, of course. Manchester. Oh, we're getting a bank in Manchester and not making more armies. Okay, interesting. But I need like armies and such. I don't know. Well, I'm getting standing armies, so I'll be able to have bigger armies, of course. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Anything happening? Okay, I'm just deciding about what I'm gonna do with the expansion of my existing regions, it looks like. Getting that up to where I want to build stuff. Yes, grab that iron there. Of course, a bunch of oil will appear fairly soon when I reach the age of revolutions. And then I'll be able to grab oil, lots of oil. Right, that's gonna go, I think, over to, right, I'm measuring like the distance for establishing outposts for roads because you want to have those at specific distances. If there's like 4 spaces or less between 2 places, then they will get a road. So just keep that in mind when making the roads. And it took me a bit to figure out exactly how far the distance was for that. But the nice thing about outpost creation is that you can actually, once you build the outpost, you can change it back to a pioneer if you want. So you can do trial and error, which is actually quite nice and not something you always see in these sorts of games. Alright, I feel like the Lunchables these days give you less pizza sauce, but I don't think there actually is. It just feels like there's less. Huh. I don't know. Well, I don't know. So when it gets older, it feels like there's less of stuff sometimes. Or sometimes it feels like there's more stuff. I don't know. Well, I suppose sometimes the things that used to be more generous become less generous over time. Uh, as time goes on and companies decide to do things more cost-savingly, where they can cut corners, they often do. Um, or so it seems to be the case anyways. Alright. So that's just hanging out there. Up and have full up on improvement points. It looks like. Will I use any of them? I don't know if I will. Okay, so I am assembling an army over there. It looks like. I think it's gonna be an auxiliary one, but you know, I'm getting the explorers over there to be sort of guerrilla army, sort of for skirmishing. Which will help me at least annoy Nigeria. Um, I suppose it's hard to actually annoy a computer. Can't really give a computer emotional states, can you? It's hard to cause the computer stress such that they become distracted. Which of course is one of the benefits of doing stuff to cause annoyances against your competitors. They will become distracted, and then they won't, you know, be paying attention to things that they should be paying attention to. Works marvelously against humans, but not so much against the computer. But you can like exploit ways that the computer thinks to distract them and take their focus to things that will remove their units and such from places that you're actually going to attack. So, but that requires some doing. Mm. Hmm. So I'm sure I had fascinating and insightful commentary when this was initially recorded, but I don't know what it was. It was by now that was a bit ago. I've gone on vacation since then. I recorded this before I went on vacation, and then I went on vacation, and I've forgotten half of the stuff. So, oh well. I recorded stuff before I went on vacation, intending to have it just queued up to go and post while I was on vacation, but then that didn't work. Oh well. Now I will just re-record it and be as interesting as I can, I suppose. So, well, we'll see how that goes. We are seeing how that goes. It sometimes leads to me very getting off on different subjects, I suppose. But yes, here I was in a big establish lots of outposts phase, which will actually turn out to have a lot of payouts later. I'll get a lot of resources from these outposts actually. Um, it's actually pretty good. Outposts can actually be quite useful in Millennia, depending upon what you do. If you take the Empire government, then there's an innovation you can get that will give you an extra one trade goods the from any um, outpost gather thing, and um, in the colonization national spirit, there's also right. We're just moving armies around. I think we've got most of the armies I want to make, maybe. It's possible I actually have most of the armies I want. Um, um, but once I get standing army, I'm going to add siege engines to them because then they'll be able to take additional unit in them. So I feel like I might make one or two more armies though. Maybe though, I don't know. I feel like this is not all the armies I end up having. Well, I can't remember. We'll see how it goes. But I guess I'm stationing these armies down towards where they're gonna end up fighting. But I need to add some more units to them in just a moment when I get standing army. Standing army will be very nice because then it's an extra unit that I can add to my armies. Alright, let's have a raspberry. Raspberries, I love raspberries. They're my favorite berry. They're unfortunately one of the more expensive ones too, though. So, but it was a sale, so I got some because one does want to get some treats sometimes. Yeah, but just looking at the colonialism powers, neither the eminent domain nor the demand feudality are terribly useful. Actually, both of them are horrible because they're cultural powers that are so require use of the culture meter, and neither of them is at all worth it, really, compared to the other things you can do with culture. I mean, maybe if you have, yeah, in rare conditions, maybe they're worth it, but not usually. And of course, I want to get the legacy power, eventually, but that requires having more colonies first. Not that the legacy power for colonialism is gonna help me that much. Because at this point in the game, I don't really need a lot more. The +1 diplomacy point per turn is not gonna be particularly helpful. And the Age of Harmony, Victory Age we can go into if we have a lot following my religion. Do I have religion? I don't know. Kind of didn't have religion in this particular thing, but I'm not sure. Searching reason, I could go into the next stage, but I've decided to delay that a little bit for various reasons. I want to get some of the texts here. Of course, they're good to have. And also, Age of Revolution will cause barbarians to spawn. And that's a thing. Right, I'm getting ready for that by creating or I'm gonna get ready for that by creating defenders for all of my far-flung places. Um, hmm, some of these raspberries are a little bit not as juicy as they usually are. Oh well, it's all right. Still tasty, just not quite as nice as usual, I suppose. But probably it's a thing because it's late in the season or something. Mm, still good though. Um, yeah, just deciding where this is gonna go. Plus those um bone things are not really useful, but I think I sit it down at the base of those hills just because that's a good strategic place. As I recall. But so let's see. Hmm. All right. Let's see. Yeah, just gotta get these where I want them. So let's see here. And yeah. All right, measure that. I want one that down right at the base of those hills, and then one up. Although I think the one that goes up will eventually get destroyed, and I'll have to rebuild it. But I'll be able to rebuild it in a better location because new resources will have been revealed. So you know, so it goes. The I do forget to adequately defend these, unfortunately, and they do get raided by the Nigerians, which is very annoying to me later on. I will tell you that. Hmm. Okay, yes, I'm getting these two better things. Looks like that's something I have to do. Um, guess curiositors would be better than the mechanical knights, but oh well, it's what I have. It's what I have. I'm not sure if you can later upgrade the mechanical knights or not. Might not be able to, which is unfortunate, but I'm not sure. No, I think you can upgrade. Yeah, they do upgrade to the cuirassiers. So they only are around for like one age, which is a little silly. Um, do not, I think that you normally, I think usually you replace units every other age, but some of the variant ages change that a bit. Hmm. Um, the different units you get in some of the variant ages are interesting. All right. Okay. So there we go. Creating the siege engines. It'll um help me take down the defenses of the regions. Siege engines are useful for that, certainly. Um, but we're just getting everything ready for the war. It shouldn't be too much longer. Don't think I get to it. I don't get to it this session. Um, I I think next session like ends with me having gotten everything in position, so it starts like 2 sessions from now. This game does move a little bit slowly at times. I mean, I enjoy games that move slowly. Um, uh, it does have some speed adjustments that you can do. You can make it take longer, which is very interesting. Um, it's an epic marathon of a game. Or you can make it do faster. Um, I think the it is balanced most. It is balanced with the normal speed in mind, of course. Um, so altering the speed alters some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. So the balance definitely changes. Um, which maybe they will adjust in later patches. But currently it does make the balance definitely different between the speeds. And I would like to have kind of a little bit more fine-tuned adjustment of some of the speeds. The fast speed makes it a little bit too fast. I'd like to see a kind of middle ground between the current faster and the current normal. Um, that slightly increases the speed, but not much. I suppose now that they are creating mods, mod power, the power to make mods, and make those available easily, um, one could make a mod that does that. So that might actually be a thing to look into. Maybe I'll see about doing some modding for this game. That could be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what sort of things are possible with mods. So I will have to look into that at some point. Um, all right, so we're just getting the economy in gear in some of these places. With a bunch of cotton and such available there, so we're making stuff to turn it into textiles, into cloth. I think it goes directly from the cotton to textiles, um, into cotton, into cloth is a early um, way you can do stuff. You can initially weave it into cloth, then later you can turn it into textiles instead of turning it into cloth. And that is, it can become a big moneymaker actually. Though the money is perhaps a little less useful in this game. But one of the other things that might mod a little bit, make money a little bit more helpful. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Um, I do want to look into modding the game and making but I'll probably wait until after the next expansion comes out with the patch that'll come with it. There's supposed to be the Atomic Ambitions expansion coming in sometime in winter, well, in Q4 um, of this year. So, any time in the next, uh, starting, I guess that would be anytime October, uh, November, December, really. Um, so, starting like a month from now, anytime in the 3 months following that. Exactly when it'll be, I don't know. Um, Hopefully earlier in that period, but I'm not sure. They'll probably um, create some other patch also. If it's later in that period, if it's earlier in that period, they probably won't do another patch. But if it's later in that period, they'll probably do another patch, I would expect. Because they have been good about doing patches for the game to update it. They certainly had several come out in the like 2 months following the release of game. They had multiple patches to get things updated, and there was a bit of a gap between to patch 5, which is the current one, which came out with Ancient Worlds, which was the first expansion that was just it was a minor little expansion. Like, I guess kind of the equivalent of the Paradox flavor packs or something, really. Um, this is, published by Paradox, but it is not developed by Paradox. But it certainly has some feelings in common with the Paradox games, which, seems reasonable considering everything. Alright. Grenadier, I haven't quite figured out how what the benefit of the assault units is. They seem mostly not as useful as the regular line units, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah. So, right. There we go. Establishing that there to get the road going. Establish that there. Get that road going, and then that. Oh, okay. Oh, there's a road all the way there. Okay, I guess yeah, that's far enough to get a road, I guess. I don't know. Close enough to get a road, I should say. Oh, I just wasn't thinking about this too deeply when I was looking at it. Drift. Alright. So, this is close to where I stopped recording the session. So, we are going to be signing off shortly. We will, of course, pick up again with the next one. And we'll continue with these after recordings for just a few more. Let's see, how many more do we have? Well, I have a few more. I'm not quite sure exactly, but there's a few more, but not many. And that's about where we're ending this. So see you next time, and until then, take care.